Okay, so today I'm going to be reviewing the 1995 Porsche 911 Carrera 2. And, well, even though this is a Carrera 2, it is probably one of the craziest Carrera 2s in the world. And, well, the reason why is probably you guys have already seen, because this is one specially built, one of one, by RWB, or RWB, which pretty much means rear wide body. And so in today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys everything you need to know about this car, from the specs, the driving experience, the design, and much, much more. And let me just tell you guys, this one's going to be wild. And so, first thing first, let's start off with the specs of this car, because, well, this one is powered by a 3.8 liter naturally aspirated flat six that creates around 300 horsepower and 257 pound-feet of torque, which really, for a car that is already about 30 years old, almost 30 years old exactly, well, that is pretty wild. And as I'll show you guys, even though the 0 to 60 is not insanely quick, it still feels seriously fast. And anyways, all that power goes through a 6-speed manual transmission via the rear wheels only, actually. So that's another thing that makes this thing crazy, to help this car rocket from 0 to 60 in about 4.7 to 5 seconds, because this one is a slightly tuned version, because it was tuned actually in Japan, where it was built at the RWB headquarters. But this one is tuned, so it's going to be faster. And yeah, that is just pure crazy. And, well, I haven't even told you the craziest part. You have a 4.8 second 0 to 60, but the top speed is about 170 miles an hour. And literally, you guys can probably tell that I am insanely excited. I probably haven't been this excited for a video in a long time. Because, I mean, how many RWBs do people see in their life? Let me just tell you, not many. And so we'll also be translating that to kilowatts and newton meters and kilometers an hour as well, so that anyone in Europe or other countries could know what the specs are. But anyways, those specs might sound pretty much purely insane, but then, well, the miles per gallon is actually relatively good for this car. You have around 14 miles per gallon city, 20 highway, and about 17, 16 combined, something in that area. So pretty much, I mean, this thing is still a car that you could drive every day while still having great performance and looks that can literally rival some hypercars. And anyways, that helps you go 300 miles of range, around 300 miles of range, 300 to 350-ish. So still, you could drive this a pretty good amount while it's still looking crazy. And yeah, that is just pure wild. And, well, now you guys are probably wondering, well, I've told you guys the specs, I've told you the horsepower, 0 to 60, and pretty much everything you need to know spec-wise about this rocket ship. Now you guys are probably wondering, well, how much does this thing cost? And, well, wait, I'll tell you guys in 1 second. First, I just need to tell you guys a little more about the history of this car. And so now you guys are also probably wondering, well, this car is purely crazy, but what is the quarter-mile time? Because really, I mean, 0 to 60 in top speed means a lot, but still, I mean, if the quarter-mile time isn't fast, then the car's not fast. And, well, this car here has a quarter-mile time of about 13.2 seconds, which, if you put that in comparison with some new supercars, like, let's take, for example, a Ferrari 296 GTB, which is pretty much a brand new Ferrari supercar, which costs over $400,000, well, let me just tell you, that car's only 2 seconds faster. Well, yeah, 2 to 3 seconds faster than this, and really, this thing is a complete beast in all aspects, even though it isn't brand new. And, well, I told you guys a little bit about that. Now let's talk about the history. And actually, right before we do that, I want to tell you guys a little bit about this design and, well, what the body kit entails, because, well, the main things about RWB body kit, just to make it clear, is one, of course, your insane fender flares, which are on both sides, and they look completely wild. You have a humongous custom rear wing, actually this one, the only type in the world. So this is a one-of-one wing on it, because it's lower than usual, and has actually better aerodynamics. You also have this front, you have this like piece coming across here, and in the air intake, and pretty much the entire front bumper is changed. And then you have rims, and, well, let me just tell you, the interior is also really nice. You have nice Recaro seats. You actually have rough speedometer and a whole bunch of like little rough parts here and there. And well, that is just purely cool. And so, well, I think I've told you guys everything you need to know about this car, at least spec-wise. Now, let me tell you guys a little bit about the history of this crazy car. And so, well, it all started in the late 90s. There's an exact indication of the exact day, but, well, in the late 90s, before 1995, a man named Akira Nakai, who was the founder of RWB, well, he found this damaged 930 Turbo. He was a former employee of the Rough World Drift Team, which was a really big Japanese drift team, and, well, you could probably guess what he did with the damaged 930 Turbo. He turned it into the first ever RWB car, and, well, he named it Stella Artois, which, well, that was the first ever RWB. Then, in 1997, well, Akira Nakai created RWB, or Ra-Well Big Red, which means Rough World Concept in Japanese, but it means Ra-Well Begriff in German. So that's how you say Rough World Concept in German. So pretty much that's what it was. He created this wild new concept car in 1997, and then actually 2011, RWB and Akira Nakai actually, well, guess what? They entered SEMA and showed off their beautiful 930 Turbo concept, and well, it just went viral because, well, people started getting it and people started loving them. And then in 2015, actually RWB and Akira Nakai actually, well, was featured on the Need for Speed game. I actually have that exact game, which has them on it, but yeah, they were featured on Need for Speed game, which also rocketed them to pretty much fame. And then, of course, Akira Nakai, fast forward 10 years, is one of the most loved creators in the world. Personally, I think his cars are complete works of art, but a lot of people aren't a huge fan, and I'm not really sure why. But anyways, now he's probably one of the most famous tuners in the world because of his beautiful wide body kits. And so pretty much that is the short but interesting history of RWB. And so I've told you guys history, I've told you guys the specs. I can't wait to drive this thing and check out the design, but I think there's only one thing left for us to do is, well, can you guys guess? I'm going to tell you the price because, well, this originally started in 1995 at $65,000, a 911 Carrera 2. And, well, the price of this build is, well, regularly a Carrera 2 costs about $82,000, between $65,000 to $82,000. That's the average price. So if we estimate at a price of $80,000 plus body kit and rims, which cost around $50,000, well, we're estimating around $170,000 for this kit, and plus the paint, the seat. So this is definitely over a $250,000 build, which is just crazy. And so I think I've told you guys everything you need to know about this car, at least the stuff that's under the skin. Now let's check out the real cool part, the design and the driving experience. Okay, so now let's take a closer look at the exterior of this car, and wow, is this thing beautiful. Like, truthfully, I never thought I would see a RWB in real life, just because they're so rare. Only 545 of them are actually in this entire world, because only 545 of them were ever built. And so, let's start off with the front. I am just crazy excited. And, of course, you have these super beautiful headlights here, which are super duper nice. You have your Porsche badging there with the Stuttgart lettering, which I definitely love. And then you get down here and you have these really nice air intakes. These air intakes actually remind me of the 996, I believe, yeah, the 996 Porsche 911 GT2 had the exact same type of like air intakes. So that is super duper cool, like, but only this one. And there's a little extra air intake there, and then they have really nice little piece right here. This is to tow your car. And actually, one reason Nakai-san and RWB got a lot of ridicule is because they thought Sakai-san just, I guess, like, not even tapes, but just glues this piece right here on. But I'll show you now, it's not glued on. He was just doing that because the owner wanted to do a photo shoot. So I'm just clearing that up for anyone who doesn't know the truth. But yeah, then you have these side mirrors here, and I love how this body kit, like, it just perfectly fits in with the side mirrors and everything. Like, Japanese art is just so beautiful. You also have these really, really nice, I don't even know if these are called, for aerodynamics, so the wind flows up and out of the way. So those are also really, really nice. They're like some, I guess you could say vents or something like that, but that's also really cool. And then if you look down here, you have this really nice little, it's like a plastic little like bumper piece type of thing, so that not as much air gets under the car. And actually the reason why they do that is because the less air gets under the car, the faster the car could go without the front maybe lifting or something like that. And even though this isn't like a land speed car, that still looks really nice, and of course is really nice for aerodynamics. And then you come to the side, and this is the thing that like tells you this is a RWB. When I saw the owner drive up in this car, my heart was like beating, like I just saw like an alien or something. Wow. Yeah, and see, it was really, really nice bolts. And actually, Nakai-san, he like double layers the pieces of like metal, I guess, to the pieces of this car, and then he bolts these on, so they'll last for a pretty good amount of time, which is also really, really nice. And just look at how wide this is. This isn't even the widest fender, but look at how wide that thing is. It's like almost as wide as this entire headlight, which is just purely insane. And then of course you come to the rims. Really, really nice shot. And of course got your original Porsche brakes. You have these really nice gold, whoa, those gold bolts just make it stand out like crazy. Wow, that's such a nice view. And then RWB lettering there, and RWB lettering here. Then also, of course, your beautiful P0 tires. And just look at how crazy it is that you have to like build the car. Look at how close it is to build it. Like literally, I could barely, like I can't even fit my pinky in there without actually touching the tire in the inside. So those tires are like so close to each other. That is just crazy. And I love the way those rims look. It would have been kind of nice though if they were center mounted, but still, those are so beautiful. Then you have these nice little newer LED blinker lights there, which is also really nice. You have this, of course, your nice mirrors. And whoa, these mirrors also, I really like how a lot of the things on these old Porsches is kind of more minimalist. There's not so much tech and not so much extra stuff, but I love just like the small minimalist type of styling, because like this is really nice. Your door handle actually doesn't pull like this, but you have to click this and open it, and I love the way it sounds. I'll definitely tell that to you guys a little later when we test drive it and check out the interior. So that is also really, really cool. And also check out how low this thing is. Like this thing is literally lower than the Xaaron I reviewed. Here, let me get a good shot. This thing is lower than the Xaaron. It's literally right here, because this thing is so freaking low. Wow. This thing is just a piece of art. And then at the end of every build, the way he finishes the build, he puts this last sticker, usually sticker, on the front. This says Rahwell, which is also really, really nice. And the way this windshield is also like slanted, it looks super nice. And then also you have this rear here. I like the way how the window, it's not like perfectly aligned, but it's kind of lower than the back of the car to make it have this kind of effect, like it's like the roof kind of hangs over the window a little bit, which personally I think looks super duper cool. And then you come to the side of this car, the fenders, which if you look at them, these things are just wild. Like look at how wide this fender is. It is literally, it has to be at least 1.5 feet long, this fender. It is just completely crazy. And then you have another one of those little lips, like I actually call it a lip spoiler, but on the side. And I really like how Nakai-san does it, where he does it like connected back here and then one up there. There's no other car that does it like that, so that is also super duper sick. And then you come around to the back of this car, and this is when you tell that this thing is just crazy wide. Because I mean, just look at this thing. Look at how wide this thing is. Like literally, it doesn't do justice unless you're like this. Let me just zoom in a little bit. Look at how wide that thing is. That's literally about 7 feet across, because just look, you see how it's parked? It's parked sideways, but it's pretty much touching on both sides, which this is 8 feet, as long as an average lane of a car. So this thing is just a crazy, like, probably the craziest cars I've ever reviewed, at least look-wise. This thing's wild, and power-wise, it's really fast for its age as well, which is also nice. And then you have this really, really nice wing. Oh, and that's just like titanium or something. That's not even plastic, so that's super cool. Then you have this cool looking carbon fiber. You could tell it's not from America because the way it looks, like carbon fiber here in America looks definitely different, but yeah, that's also really sick. And then the carbon fiber connectors here, which is also super duper cool. And actually, from the owner, I heard that this is the only RWB in the world with this type of wings. So that means this is even more special, and the spec and everything, this is definitely one of one. But check out like those air intakes. I've never seen triangular air intakes on the RWB wing. That's completely crazy, and it's cool how it almost like, it looks like the wing almost like melts out from the like whale tail spoiler, I guess, and it almost like melts out and just turns into this crazy huge thing. Wow. That is also super sick. And then you have air intakes to your engine there, and I like how they completely took off like pretty much all the badging, and I can see the engine there. And I feel like it makes it look like more wild, even without all the like Porsche badges and 3.8 liter and stuff like that. So that is also super cool. Then you have your RWB lettering there, Zweit Entwicklung. I'll translate that in German to English down there because I don't really know the German tongue, but that's interesting. I wonder what it means. And then you also have this, of course, your really cool rear light, and it's actually pretty funny. Like, everyone says that Hyundai created the strip light, right? But really, Porsche did, because if you see a Porsche from 1970s, 930 Turbo Porsche has a strip light, and as you can see here, a 993 Porsche has a strip light. This was before Hyundai was even anywhere, while they were still like a smaller company, so Porsche is the one who created the strip light, which of course is quite cool. Then you have your backup lights there, you have your main light here, and then you have your little blinker lights here, and yeah, that is also really cool. And actually, speaking of, I'll show you guys over here, and I've actually mentioned this in a lot of my other videos. All cars in America have orange blinker lights, as I showed in a lot of my other videos. But see, this one has a white one, and because it was actually imported from Japan. Everything done on this car was from Japan. This was an RWB, completely made in Japan, the seats and everything. So this is also extremely cool because this comes from the actual shop where RWB made it. He didn't have to fly somewhere else to make it, but yeah, that's also insanely cool. And actually, check this out. Check this out. You see these small little mufflers or exhausts? Those tiny exhausts sound wild. Like, they sound crazy loud. And actually, speaking of, I'll be posting some really cool photography and stuff like that of this car on my Instagram. You can check it out in the link below. But anyways, these things are crazy loud, even though they look so tiny, and it just sounds like a complete beast when it's turned on, so that's also extremely cool. Then you have your air outtakes, because also, not only are RWBs wide, but, well, their tires are even wider. Look at how wide that tire is. It's just humongous, and even from here, it stretches all the way to right here. The tire. So that's extremely wide, and the air flowing out of here from the hot tires and brakes help keep it cool. And yeah, so pretty much that is what keeps that humongous tires from like melting or something like that. So that is also really, really cool. And I mean, overall, this thing is just a complete beast. Wow. Then also you have classic Porsche Sports Day. And you could also check out the owner's Instagram, RWB Isa. Check him out on Instagram. He has some really, really cool cars in his collection. But yeah, that is also extremely cool. And yeah, so I checked out all of the exterior of this completely insane car. Now let's hop inside. And well, Let's pop this door open, and I love the way how it clicks. Listen, when you close it, and then when you open it, the way it clicks, it just sounds so nice, and you can just see how low this car is, like, getting in here. And, yeah, let's hop inside. We have to be careful not to hit anything and just slide ourselves into there. And as soon as you're inside here, you could tell it's pretty cozy, to tell the truth. It's nice and really cozy in here, but actually these Recaro seats, these Japanese market Recaro seats, are seriously comfortable. I want to talk about this first. They hold you in place seriously well. I don't even got the belts on, but with the belts on, the racing belts, they hold you in place extremely well. So that is also really, really nice. We'll test those seat belts out in a sec, but you have those really nice Recaro seats covered in beautiful Alcantara, and you have your Porsche lettering here. You have airbag, of course, there. Some nice little speakers over here, and then this is the switch for the windows. How interesting is that? That puts the windows up or down. This cool little thing here, so that is also really nice. Then you also have the speakers here, which is also really, really cool, and that's an alarm system. You have your handle, and this is actually how you open the door. You pull it out, and so you have, let's close this door up. Okay, so we got the door closed, and you could see how cool everything is, and that handle to open the door. You have your Porsche logo, like I said, and actually, this is probably one of the specialist parts about this car. Check this out. Gotta get a good shot. This is RWB's signature. This is Akira Nakai's signature. That is extremely cool. I doubt many people see his actual signature right there, which is extremely cool. And you got AC, so there you have DVD players here. Yeah, that's a little glove box there, which is also quite nice. You have another DVD player, and then you have like buttons for the headlights. You have different things. You have like to warm the windshield off, and then also you have this cool little button here. I'm not sure what that's for. Interesting little button there. You have your key button, 6-speed manual transmission there. You have your parking brake, and ooh, this one's actually in carbon fiber. Check that out. So this is a rare option, leather and carbon fiber. You press that and push it down for the parking brake. So that is also really, really cool. And then you have this little thing here that controls the audio of those speakers. And well, then you also have this. Pull this down, and you have this really nice little mirrors right here, which is also really cool. And hey, put that up, and it's actually kind of interesting that there's a lot of like roof stuff here. Like that is roof, that is roof over there. Interesting. So I'm wondering if it's just like roof trim or if it's actually tuned by roof, because that'd be even more interesting. And then you have your fire thing there, and then you have a little cup holder for tiny little cups of I'm not sure really what. And then you have roof lettering over there, which also looks really, really cool. And yeah, then you actually still have the Japanese lettering here. Not sure what that says, but I'm assuming it's like registration date or something. So that's also really, really cool. Then you have your little mirror here, and I love how simplistic it is here. This thing is definitely be crazy when we are able to drive it. So that is also really, really cool. Then you have, of course, your windshield wiper there. You have your whoa, this is actually a quartz clock here. You don't really see that anymore, but there's a clock here, which is also really nice. You see the amount of miles it was driven, 1,918 kilometers. Oh, that's actually kind of funny, 918. So yeah, it's a cool little amount of mileage, and it shows you could get to 300 kilometers an hour. I'm not sure exactly how much that is, but I'll definitely put that down there so you guys could see if it's truly could hit that speed of 170 miles an hour and what that equals to. But yeah, then also you have your RPM there. This thing just sounds completely crazy. And that as well, you have your oil temp. You have your fuel amount, so you can see how much fuel is left. Of course, this is turned off, so you can't see that, but that is also really, really cool. And of course, you have your Ra-Welt Begriff steering wheel, and that means rough world concept, like I told you. So that is also a really cool leather-wrapped steering wheel with the beautiful purple trim. That is also really, really nice. And also, you have your nice roof covered in leather. And overall, like, there is some a little bit of dirt here and there, but really this thing is in perfect condition. Like, I haven't seen a single scratch, single stain, nothing in this car. It's like literally one of the best conditioned cars I've ever reviewed, even though it is around 30 years old. So that is just completely wild as well, just to think about that. And then also you have those really nice, those are like pedals with the holes in them, and the reason why is so that actually it's like lighter and also for drifting. So that's also a cool little hint to, I guess, like Japanese heritage. And then you also have the nice Porsche honk button there, and then also like bolted on with this nice trim here, and then of course your RWB lettering there. And personally, I think I'm like, this is just wild, being able to review a real RWB. Like, this is definitely a dream come true. And then of course you have your belts there. And actually, speaking of belts, let's test out these belts. So you do like this. Let's switch it to my other hand. And let's see, let's kind of figure these out.
Eventually.
Okay, so we finally got them on. Took some time, but they're relatively good. They're actually quite comfy because they have this like soft material on them. And what do they say? Seatbelt. I guess it's a company, Seatbelt seatbelts. Interesting, but yeah, this really nice seatbelt here. And actually, the way you take them off is like this. You twist this, and they all pop off. So that is really cool, and you could just put that to the side. And yeah, so that's how you take the seatbelts off in a $200,000 to $300,000 car. Pretty nice. And yeah, so that is also really, really cool. And actually, speaking of, before we hop out of this car, let's test drive this thing, because I mean, I need to show you guys how wild it is. Okay, so now we're test driving this wild car, and it is so loud. I don't even know if you guys could hear me. Like being inside of a race car, because like these Recaro seats, the way it sounds. Oh my, whoa, that was crazy. That drift was crazy. This thing can actually drift, actually good. Whoa, this thing is so loud. Whoa. Oh my god. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Oh, that's insane. What? This is the loudest thing I've ever been in. I can barely hear myself. Hopefully the camera can hear me. This thing is crazy loud. Whoa. And that transmission is also crazy. Okay, got the mics back in because it's so loud. I don't even know if you guys can hear me. Whoa. And like the suspension and stuff, it's so stiff. It's so stiff, it's like, it feels like we're driving a turbo. Whoa. This is the craziest car I've ever been in. What the? Whoa. And the interior sounds. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, we're definitely getting a lot of heads are turning because of this car. sounds, it's more raw than any hypercar I've been in. Whoa, this thing is pure crazy. I love the way it's like rumbling and popping the exhaust. This is a beast. And a beast. And like this, I don't think it has any like sound deadeners or anything. I mean, it sure doesn't sound like it. Whoa. That was pretty crazy. Okay, so you saw what it was like to test drive that thing. It was just completely cool. And so now let's check out a little bit more of this interior before we hop out. And actually, one thing that I really like is the way this window, I mean, it's pretty good size. The sticker kind of blocks some view, but I really like the way this thing feels like you're sitting inside the cockpit of a race car, which is, of course, a really cool experience. And I mean, leg room is relatively good. Headroom is, of course, great. I've definitely about 6-7 inches of headroom, so anyone higher than me should easily be able to fit. And actually, right here, you could press those in, and there's actually lights up there, reading lights, which, of course, is really cool. And, well, originally this came with 4 seats, if you look back here, but now it only has 2, because the owner, I guess, took them out, or the people who tuned in Japan, so that is also really cool. And then also you have these buttons here for the fan and heating and cooling, and then you have just like a little light bulb button there. And yeah, I like how the sun is like coming across it. The sun is bouncing off of this and coming across it, making it look like these are like body colored dials. So yeah, that is also really cool. Then you also have this super duper cool. Then also you have this, another little AC right there, and actually you have 2 switches to control the driver's and passenger side, so that is also quite nice. And so yeah, I think we've checked out all of this definitely cool car. Now let's hop out and near the end of our video. So here, open this, open that really nice door, and I love the way it sounds when it opens and closes. You just have to be kind of careful when you get out, but yeah, let's close this up. Have to kind of, yep, close it hard. Okay, so it's closed up, but yeah. And actually, I was going to show you guys a side view of this car. Looks so nice the way how it's all slanted. But yeah, so I hope you guys like this video. Let me show you guys one more thing before we near the end of it, and it's those exhausts. Those exhausts might seem tiny. It's kind of hard to see, but check that out. If you look inside of there, those exhausts are like multicolored exhausts. Exactly like what I saw on the Pagani Utopia at the Pagani factory. So that is also quite cool. Yeah, we'll get a good shot beyond. So that is also super cool. So yeah, I hope you guys like this video. Remember to like and subscribe to Xaaron Reviews, and see you all next time. And actually, hopefully, if any of you guys have contacts with Akira Nakai, I really hope to be able to be an apprentice under him or something like that, because that would be definitely cool. And also, it would be so sick if someone could set me up with well, maybe a video on the RWB headquarters. So, I hope you guys like this video. Check out my Instagram and X where I post the coolest car news and photography, and I'll see you guys later.